Good evening, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero with a quick little weather update on what seems like a fairly quiet week we've had and will continue to have in the Northeast, at least. We'll talk about that. So, yesterday, pretty good day. It started getting a little bit cloudier later on in the day. We did have some showers rolling through last night throughout the New York City area. Right now, it's kind of the same situation, but a little bit more east, where we had some showers kind of rolling through eastern Massachusetts, Boston kind of area. So that's going on right now, but pretty much everywhere is going to be a very, very minimal shower or just any kind of weather chance this week, except once we head to the Midwest. So let's start by talking about what's going on right now, because we do have an active tornado warning out in the central part of the country. So let's head there now. All right, so on the bigger picture here, we do have the most activity going through the central part of the continent right now, going basically spanning from, it looks like, Texas all the way through Canada. There's something going on from Canada down to Texas. Quite interesting, but we do have one active tornado warning right now. So let's take a peek in here. Already, it looks like kind of a wider or bigger hook echo, but let's switch this up and see some velocities here. Oh, wow, right in here. It's not like that part right in the heart. That's more of a speed shear. So this lighter blue, wow, it's negative 70 miles, 71 miles, like, so right around 70 miles per hour in one direction, but in the same direction, we're going into the darker green, so about, say, 30. So about a 40 mile per hour speed difference between these different areas. That's what creates speed shear. It's not as potent as directional shear, but speed shear can still create little eddies in the atmosphere. So let's put this in motion, see what happens. Coming from south to north. It looks like it just spun up right in there. This spot looks like it came right up and spun up. So that is interesting. If you are in this area and you happen to be watching this, I would say take shelter. Because right there's shear happening. That's what all these lines are. They're all shear tracks. So there's quite a cluster of shear happening right there, which it looks like that's where that was. So just take this and draw it on top of here, and that's the shear going on right now. So it may not be the potent directional shear, but it's still quite some interesting and some decent speed shear that's going on. That's what's going on in the middle part of the country. Back home in the Northeast, it looks like we're getting a report of some showers here, rain. I don't believe that to be the case. That might be out of date, but let's see. Oh, we're still in velocity mode. Yeah, I think it's a false report. All of this is just ground clutter, because the sun went down and that causes this air density to happen. So none of these radars are showing any kind of shower action happening there. So I would say nothing, at least here. Going a bit more north, let's take a peek. It looks like kind of the same thing, just a lot of clutter going on. Maybe a little something there. Let's put that in motion. On the Binghamton radar, nope. That is something else going on. I don't know about that, but that definitely is something else. But what we are seeing is, if we head over to Boston, it's actually now out into the Sound Atlantic kind of border. So let's put this in motion. And there was that line that went through Massachusetts and Rhode Island there. Quite intense, but it looked like it was short-lived at least. But that's really the only weather that was happening in the northeast. Because now when we switch to the bigger radar, it's a little bit more into Canada, so north of Halifax into here, Charlottetown, not Charlestown. So that's where we're seeing some rain up there. And down here, we're starting to see rain off the coast of the Carolinas and Virginia there, or North Carolina, Virginia. So that's really about it. So for anybody in the Northeast, fairly calm, and that's going to be the trend that we're going to see, which is not necessarily good because we have drought conditions still. So on the drought monitor, we do have that D1 drought, so that moderate drought situation. A lot of areas in exceptionally dry, so not necessarily drought yet. Going more north, yes, we are seeing the D1, D2, and a D3 drought, which a D3 drought is considered extreme. So we are seeing very dry conditions throughout a lot of the Northeast right now. So having another pretty nice week ahead, not necessarily going to help that. But also with the pretty nice week ahead, that also means it's going to be fairly calm in terms of tropical activity because high pressures are going to keep most of this at bay. But when we go take a look at the National Hurricane Center here, we do see this little disturbance here that has a 70% chance of formation. And if this does form, and look at the track that it's going on, my theory and my thesis that I am writing, this is going north of Puerto Rico. So use Puerto Rico as a checkpoint. That will tell the position of the high. So if the high is more over here, that means that this is going to be either over Puerto Rico or south of Puerto Rico, which would be more of a land strike. But if the high, the subtropical high, is over here more, kind of like a little lever of a paddle in a pinball machine setup, where this is the ball, the pinball itself, and then the paddle is the high pressure, flipping it in a certain direction. So if this is going this way, probably it's going to stay out to sea. Maybe a Bermuda hit, maybe a Canada hit right up there, but most of the area, I would even say, might not even hit any land at all. So we'll see if it does form, what happens there. So stay tuned to the channel, and I will definitely keep you updated with that. All right, now taking a look at the models. Good old tropical tidbits here. As I was mentioning, it's going to be a fairly quiet week ahead. There's the shower, so it's initializing the GFS here. This is the 18Z run. Very quickly out. Monday looks good. That system, as I was mentioning, high pressure in place over the Northeast. So that keeps the system pretty much at bay. Maybe South Jersey and Southern Pennsylvania can get a little bit. And then as it moves more out to sea, maybe Long Island and the Boston area. And then a bit more coming south out of Canada. But overall, this looks like it's not really going to be too much. And again, look, we're in Friday already. So really nothing happened. It's a very slow week. So Monday, nothing. Tuesday, starting to get a little bit into southern Jersey there, Delmarva area. This is Wednesday already. Going into Thursday, kind of the same situation, but Thursday is where we start getting a little bit coming down out of Canada. Maybe an early precursor Alberta Clipper kind of thing, but it's too warm for snow. But this could be a rain clipper kind of thing. And then continuing through into Friday, looks fine. Maybe a little spot shower, but that's again too inconsistent here on the GFS. And then a very strong high, 1034, 1032 high comes in, and that keeps really everything at bay. So this upcoming weekend looks like it's going to be really good, which is a good sign for me because this coming Sunday, the 21st, I will be at the New York Renaissance Fair. So this looks like it's going to be a very good day. And then going into Monday, same thing, that high is there. Tuesday, high is still in place. And then beyond that, we're not going to talk about anything because I don't trust anything out of a 7-day forecast. The last thing I'll show you here is going to be the MOS data. So the warmest spot in the area usually is Newark. or the New Jersey area. So let's see for the week. We see Monday's high 78, then 75, 73, 81, 84, 70, 73. So still, we are in fall, and on the 21st, this weekend, essentially, fall officially starts from the normal calendar, the astronomical calendar. Meteorological fall has started already, but celestial fall starts this weekend. So that's where we're end of summer going into fall is the roller coaster kind of season. So we're going to be seeing roller coaster of temperatures going from the 70s to the 80s, back down to the 70s, and then maybe in the 50s for those overnight lows it's looking like. Speaking of the overnight lows, so we'll see 63, 61, 62, 64, 58, 54. So, yes, overall swings of the days are going to be in the 50s to start out your day, potentially going up from the 50s to the 80s, and then back down into the 60s or the 50s again. So quite a swing we are going to be seeing with these temperatures. And then just going a little bit more north, let's go up to Albany and take a quick peek here. 79, 79, 78, 79, 74, 67, 70. So pretty steady through the first or most of the week ahead. But then by the time we get to Friday and through the weekend, it gets down to the low 70s and upper 60s. So fairly steady. It's, again, more inland, so it's more stable than by the ocean. So that's where we're going to be seeing a little bit more stability versus the roller coastering the closer you get to the ocean. So that's what we're going to be expecting for the week ahead. All right, so that is going to be a wrap for this video. Now, again, we don't have too much to really worry about, but this is also a good time while there's no weather happening to make sure your emergency preparedness supplies are good, and if you need to restock anything, like batteries, this is now the time to check because there's nothing really, at least in the next 7 days, to worry about. So go through the stuff there, and feel free to head to bettersaferadio.com to get your emergency communications radio. And in there, the guy is Mark. He pre-programs the radios with emergency communication frequencies and NOAA weather radio frequencies. So you can get that wherever you are with all the multiple NOAA weather radio frequencies pre-programmed in. All right, again, so this is a wrap. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero, everybody. Stay safe out there. Feel free to hit the subscribe button below and the little bell icon right next to that so you get notified whenever I upload a video like this or I go live. No lives this week. Very busy week for my job, so just keep that in mind. So not much is going to be happening with videos for this week. Very, very busy week ahead. All right, again, this is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video.